You see, these are some of the artifacts found on Noah's Ark. Just to show you one, for instance, this one is, of course, stone now, but if you look at it, it almost looks like they were making something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it looks like it was making some pins. Maybe they were pouring, maybe it was a wooden mold for steel pins or something. Anyway, that's came from that site. These are all petrified. This was at the top of the boat, and it's lighter color petrification.
Yes.
And you get to the bottom of the boat, and the metals made everything darker when it petrified. These bowls and things you're seeing are copies of some of the things pottery found in the Ark of the Covenant cave and on the dig for the Ark of the Covenant. So these are some of the first temple items, a copy of them that he turned in to the IEA.
Oh.
All right, now let's
Okay.
talk about, remember we talked about the red cap that was found in the cross hole of the WD-40 can.
Yeah. Oh, that is.
This is not the cap, but this is exactly like it. It's the ones that's made in the early 80s. And this cap was found in the cross hole with dirt packed in it where it had been there since Ron. And we think he left it there to show us that that was the cross hole. So this is that type cap. This is the coin that was found. Wow. Vespasian coin. It's been cleaned. So this is a copper coin.
Yes.
We found, we've tested the metal, and it's 100% or 99% copper. Okay, Roman coins that have been poured, like this one, all have a little bit of lead in them. Where they smelt the coin, when they poured it in the lead mold, there'd be a little bit of lead on the coin. All right, this coin, you see how thick it is?
Yeah, it's very thick.
Pretty thick.
Yeah.
It's probably uncirculated, but this coin was copper with no lead, which means it was pressed.
Oh.
A piece of copper in a mold, hit hard with a hammer to make this coin. So this is a counterfeit coin from that time period.
Oh.
It was not poured, it wasn't a Roman coin. This was a counterfeit coin from the early church that was put into that hole. Okay? Here's another. This is a broken nail
Yeah.
that was found. This would be like if it was a crucifixion nail. They would have broke it off. You know, they run it through and then they bend it in the back so it won't come out. So it'd make it easier just to break it and pull it off that way. And this is one of them found on the site. Because we don't know if it was used for Jesus or anyone else, but it was on the site.
But it will be longer than that.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
original
part of
nails
the-
would be, 6 inches, maybe longer, because they had to go through the wood, the hand, the wood.
Yeah.
And then if
Yeah.
it went all the way through the wood, they would bend the back a little bit so it wouldn't pull through. All right, now this is the one of 7 lamps. See how it has the lamb or the ram up on the eating off the bush, kind of like Abraham and Isaac's lamb was caught in the thicket.
Yeah.
All right, and here's the other side. Ron originally thought that this blackened substance was where the lamp was burning, and when they closed it in, it left this side burned from burning. We've since learned that this lamp was made from this material. This is just, the blackened part is just the type of material that this lamp is made from. Now this is the curious part. This lamp was found in the Ark of the Covenant cave and cave system. But this lamp is a Roman lamp from around Jesus' time. So how did Jesus' time lamp get into this section? We don't know, of course, but 608 BC is when the first temple furnishings were hid. And here we have a lamp. Maybe Jesus allowed the disciples or someone else to see this story at a later time. Maybe that's why the disciples were so strong in what they believed, that they saw that the blood had fallen on the mercy seat.
Say it again, though. Maybe that's why they.
I'm just saying this lamp was a Roman lamp. It wasn't made, we thought it was made in 586 BC. But we've since found that this lamp was made in Roman time, which is more like Jesus' time. So that means that lamp was in the cave system with the Ark of the Covenant.
In the
Jesus'
later
time.
Yeah, I see.
At a later
In Jesus' time. Yeah.
So how did it get there? Except maybe God opened that door over there in the cave system and let somebody come in there and see it.
And this is
That's a ram.
The ram.
Caught in a thicket or eating off of a thicket,
yeah.
standing up on his hind legs. And that's the way Abraham's, the ram was caught in a thicket, standing up on his, his horns were caught in the thicket. That's how they caught the sacrifice.
And the horn, this is the horn.
Okay. So that's kind of the picture of Abraham and Isaac's.
So the ram
God
was
says, "I'll
standing up
provide."
and trying to eat.
God says, I'll provide the sacrifice.
And then his horn got caught.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
got
ram
it.
was caught in a thicket.
Yes.
So
yes.
Abraham was able to get a sacrifice instead of Isaac.
Yes. Wow.
And we said they were drilling holes through the cross holes. Well, this is the size hole that was trying to drill into the Ark of the Covenant cave. This is the limestone material. This is a piece of the material that came out of one of the holes. There were probably over 30 or 40 holes drilled, trying to go down into the Ark of the Covenant cave.
But who drilled it?
Richard, and this is what they were drilling. That's why when we found the correct cross hole, we could not tell them. Because we didn't want them to destroy the site.
Yeah. And this looks like a big nail.
Okay, this is when Ron entered the cave system, and when he first entered the Ark of the Covenant cave, the stalactite you see there was in the opening, and he broke it loose so they could crawl through that hole into the cave system. And that's the actual stalactite from the cave system. And it shows the type of material that's in the cave. It's very hard. It's limestone that's turned into this hard substance. Okay. So this one was broke off, and that's how big the opening was. When they broke that off, then the smaller kid that was originally with Ron,
ran away or something.
he was able to get in, and he came scurrying out. What's in there? What's in there? And he left the system and never came back. So Ron enlarged the hole, and that's when he crawled in January 6th, 2 o'clock, and saw the gold of the Ark of the Covenant and the furnishings in the cave. Now this next item is pretty interesting. This whole thing here, if you look at it, this is a pelvic bone with the backbone sticking up. This is the bones of someone that didn't turn to ash completely at Gomorrah. See, they burned up, but they didn't quite turn to ash. They preserved their bones. So that's what's left of someone from Gomorrah. We have another bone over here in the other case from the same type site.
Did you analyze which part of the body of this bone are from animal?
No, it's human. Well, it's a pelvic bone with the backbone. Everything's there except for the skull.
脊椎
There's no skull.
like the backbone。
OK
The backbone right when it comes off your pelvic bone.
哦，
OK
在这里了，
OK
这边的大骨盆。
See, like this is a bone with the marrow missing. This is another one that burned up. See, the marrow of the bone is missing.
Yeah.
See, this is the bone that was burned at Gomorrah, but it didn't quite turn to ash like those over there. This bone is intact. Of course, this is the sulfur balls
Yeah.
from Gomorrah.
Yes. Wow, this is big one.
That's a pretty good size one. They found one that was 15 pounds. It's a pretty big stone. And from Babel, we have, you know, he said he'd gone to Babel. Here's a brick from Babel.
Oh.
See the brick? See the hammer? A hammer stone, like if you had a piece of wood in the middle there, strapped like an Indian hammer or something. And then there's some more tools down there. And then here's some more used for, these are probably used for making thread. And then this is a leg from a what do you call it, a foreign god, you know, one of their gods from Babel. And then this case on the bottom is how the pyramids are built. And you'll basically see that these levers, as you turn on each end, the ropes, the arms would move like this. They'd go up, and the flat parts here in the middle, they'd go up, and where the one up here would be moving down, and they would meet together, here and here. And they would change the pigs and just keep moving it up. Just keep moving it up. Just like this back one that you see here is moving everything back up to the top. That's why when you look at the Great Pyramid, it has big stone round spots around the pyramid, and that's what held the base of these big devices. And Ron built one of these, and Japanese TV was on the Great Pyramid showing how these things worked.
Oh, Japanese TV. Okay.
They were there. We have a film of that.
Oh.
And this is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Randall. Again, what is this?
That is a brick from Babel.
Brick. Oh, okay.
A baked brick. See? So Babel was built with these. Okay. This is a example of in Egypt. What's it? Baal? Is that the name of that?
Oh, I
What's
know
the name of the little
this.
god here?
那个邪神的那个
She hadn't said that.
It's example of Baal, right?
No, it's not an example of that.
What's the name of?
Is that the wife of the Baal, right?
Semiramis?
Semiramis, and then
Sorry. Anyway, it's okay. It's one of the foreign gods. Okay.
Yeah.
This is one that was, you know, they would bury these. They would put these in the tombs with them when they died and that kind of thing. All right, and then this little guy that looks just like him was found right here in Tennessee with a metal detector. Mary Nell's dad found this in Tennessee out in a field with a metal detector, and it's the very same image
Yeah.
that was used in Egypt. Of course, these are examples of the different things in Egypt that you'd find. These are scarabs that have the back has the name of the pharaohs. There's a cartouche on the back that describes who it is. And we know that Thutmose IV was the pharaoh that died in the Exodus. And Mary Nell's done
In the
research
Red Sea.
in the Red Sea crossing.
Yeah.
Mary Nell's done the research with Ron that 20 years of work and has determined that the firstborn that died in the plagues,
Yeah.
okay, the 10th, when the firstborn died, the 10th plague, the firstborn of Egypt was King Tut. King Tut was the firstborn that died in the first Passover. That's why his tomb was prepared so quickly, and he wasn't intended to be in that tomb. He was a young guy. you know.
Right.
Let's see, I almost forgot this case. Andrew brought a bunch of this stuff. Okay, Kadesh Barnea, one of the things that Ron discovered was Kadesh Barnea, just like the rock of Horeb where Moses struck the rock and the water came out. Kadesh Barnea is the second place where he struck the rock. All right, this is a pestle, you know, like you have a mortar and pestle, you grind up the spices.
Yes.
This was found at Kadesh a month ago. This came from Kadesh Barnea. Okay? This bone and this bone are fossilized, coralized with coral, came from the Saudi side of the Red Sea crossing and the Egypt side of the Red Sea crossing.
Oh.
One from each side.
These are human bones.
Human bones. Okay, these are seeds of Elam, at Elam.
Yeah.
These are from the palm trees at Elam. I just brought those back. I've got one planted out here, and we'll see if it's going to grow. This is wood.
That'd be cool.
This is wood from the cleft between the rocks on top of Mount Sinai. There's a tree growing up there. And this is the dead limb, part of the dead limb from that tree. And it looks to be a spruce, some type of spruce tree. We thought it was an almond tree, but as we looked at the wood, we found a living one down a little bit, and it was the type of spruce, some type of evergreen spruce type tree.
So this is on top of the Mount Sinai.
Up on, okay, remember where it talks about they put Moses between the cleft between the rocks?
Yes.
But there's a place up there that has two rocks with a tree growing in between them. That it could be the cleft between the rocks. And this tree was growing up there.
Oh.
All right, then these are some rocks that have been brought back from the very top of Mount Sinai. Andrew's been up there, and about 5 or 6 guys have been up there. This is the blackened peak, the blackened side of Mount Sinai. And you broke the rock off, you flip it over, and it's not blackened on the other side.
Right.
See, this side God walked on, burned. It said it burned with smoke,
Yes.
thundering smoke.
Yeah.
This side, this is your regular side.
Yeah.
So God may have walked on that very place, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because that top portion, I saw the picture, the top portion was black.
The blackened peak, that's
Yeah.
where that came from.
Blackened
This is
peak.
some more, this one's just a black piece. Here's another one that's blackened,
Yeah. Yeah.
broke it off, and the other
Yeah.
side doesn't have the blacking.
Yeah.
And of course, there's some more of that. I broke this one off. There's one side. Right here is a piece that Andrew found on top of Mount Sinai. It's a piece of granite that resembles what be maybe the width and maybe even the type of rock that the tables of stone are made of. It was found just like this, except a little longer, he said.
Oh. Oh.
He broke it in half so he could bring it down a little easier.
So you mean
This is a piece of granite
the
that's
10 Commandments were written on this kind of
something maybe similar to something like this. Ron said it was like the rock that was up on top of the mountain, and this is similar. This is similar to the rock that's up there.
I see.
This is a piece of granite from around Moses' altar. There was granite marble, this piece of marble, white marble, for Moses altar site, and there were a lot of round pillars and pieces that built a memorial. Solomon built a memorial there for Moses altar. And this is what that marble's made from. And there's some quarries up on the side of the mountain that have been quarried, that they think that Solomon quarried to get the pieces they needed. This is a small thread found on Noah's Ark.
Right.
A very small thread. When they put the microscope to it, the light from the microscope came through the fiber like a fiber optic fiber.
Yeah, I was going to say this is like.
On Noah's Ark. So figure that one out, you know. Here's some wells. We didn't see that. We haven't seen pictures of these till now.
Definitely. Thank you, Andrew.
From
They were just
from
funny
above
because they were on your
at the
table, weren't
Mount
they?
Sinai site. These are wells that are right next to the side of the wall where the water. See, they're double walled,
Yeah.
and the water would come through, and they would get their water. Here's the wells along the edge of the lake, and here's the flight up above. You can see the edge of that well, double walled. Big rocks with the little rocks in between.
Yeah.
18 foot in diameter, and that's where there's the line where the water level is, and so the water was like this picture coming out of these wells.
So they camp. The Israelis they camp there for.
Yeah, this is the camp area, and actually back this way, the golden calf altar's here. This is the riverbed, like you see here. There's the golden calf altar.
Yes.
Moses altar is right here. That's what you're seeing here
Oh.
from above. See?
Yeah. Oh.
That's the holy precinct. Here's the cleft between the rocks. Remember I told you
Yeah.
there's a tree in between the two rocks?
Oh.
That tree's, piece of it's right over there.
Do you want to come
This
over
is a
here
cave of Elijah.
and show some of these videos on
This cave is the cave of Elijah
this screen?
Yeah.
up on the side of the mountain there.
Oh.
And
Wow.
that's right there, and then there's the blackened peak going up to
Yes.
show you
Look
where you're
just
at.
right there. There's so much.
And then here's the rock of Horeb,
that
which
they'll have
you're looking at here. Here's a rock of Horeb. And to show you how tall it is, here's a person standing.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know.
And look how the weathered rock around is just weathered.
Yeah.
And this area only gets a quarter inch of rain a year.
Mm.
You see how it stands up there in the distance.
Mm.
That's a forbidden military zone. Very hard to get into. And here's the golden calf altar with the etchings of the bulls on the side.
Yes.
And this trip we also found, like I was telling you, we found a painting, a red dye
Okay.
from Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the
Yeah, and
Red
I
Sea
got
crossing
really
site
I could put a couch there with a chair
on the Saudi
the
side.
end,
And then, of course, this is where the pillar used to be.
like we have upstairs.
This is the wadi where when they crossed, they would go up into this area.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is where the column used to be. Now it's, you see the water in the background.
Yeah.
We've recently found that
You and, Adam might just
they
have-
broke the column and buried it.
Adam or Nathan.
And look, here's an area that's been dug up next to it there possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to scratch through that, see if we can't find the column.
It sure did.
Did you see how it was pointing over here to the side? See that? There's a gold detector. Pointing over here to the side. Okay, and I was going to move over here. Recognize that? Recognize that?
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's pointing.
The crack.
They're going over. He's standing over the crossover. He's got
Yeah.
silver right now.
Okay.
Anyway, that spot is showing gold and silver readings, and that's where the Ark of the Covenant is. Where he's standing.
Yeah. This is the wood floor is.
Yes. At the garden tomb. There it is. Found it.
I found it too. I just found it also.
Oh man,
All
we're
at
out. Okay, there's the sword.
Standing by it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The same. But I have one with Ron standing by it. Or
Yeah.
sitting by it.
Yeah, that's, see, it looks pretty much the same.
We saw that photo online.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. This one is one that
the
another
one you
man
saw.
made.
Oh yeah.
We
Yeah.
saw that photo.
Yeah, I
online.
saw this photo in the internet, and there's a drawing of the. Well, anyway, the size of the not the
right.
actual drawing
Right.
of the Ark of the Covenant, but
Yeah.
just to show how
Yes.
the
that-
dimension is.
yeah, those are Jim Pinkoski's drawings, I'm pretty
There's
sure.
Randall holding it.
You know,
Oh, wow.
that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I want to say is because in that drawing it shows the width and the height and the length, right? And in inches.
Right.
Yeah. And then
52 inches.
and because there's 2.5 according to the Bible, it's 1.5 cube and then
Right.
2.5 cube,
Right.
right? So and I matched that with the archaeological finding of the royal cube,
Right.
the length
Real
of the
cubit.
royal cube, and it matched exactly.
Yeah, 20.62 inches.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So that was, but Ron told me that the tops of the heads of the cherubim came to about right here. And actually in that picture it shows them at waist level,
What's that chest?
and it's actually, the top of it is more like chest
So
level.
it's smaller there.
Yeah, so they're smaller.
The angels are.
Uh-huh.
The angels smaller. Okay.
The
Okay.
Bible's dimensions only for the box, not for the angels.
Right,
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
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 So that's really about all the specifics that he really gave about that.
Now, a lot of drawings or a lot of images of the Ark of the Covenant are wrong in the way that the stay is
Yeah.
that is on the long side, right? Not the
Yeah,
short side.
it's
Because a
on the
lot
long-
of drawing are
Right.
showing on the
It's
even
on the
Temple
long
Institute
side.
they show it on the short side, the
Uh-huh.
1.5 cube side, which is wrong.
Wrong.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to.
And that way, when it's like here's the holy place, or the most holy place,
Yes,
and
that's the east. This yeah.
right, and so here's the middle, coming down, and the Ark of the Covenant. When it's in here and the staves are sticking out, that means that it's oriented this way. When
East-
when the
east, west way.
when the priest goes in, he had to turn.
Yeah, that's what I believe. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the Bible's pretty clear on that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't spell it out
Right.
You have to put
well
the pieces
enough.
together.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to put the pieces
Because
together.
like when he sprinkled the blood on the east side,
Yes,
so you know it's on one side of the mercy seat.
right.
And then the verse in 1 Kings that talks about the staves being seen from the holy place.
And
So
I
you know
cannot.
the staves are going this way.
Yeah, you can see from within. I cannot see from without.
Yeah, so because
Yeah.
they're long.
Right.
So using those two verses together, you know that the ark was oriented.
East.
Below.
Yeah. Because the reason why it's on the reserve, the west side is reserved for Jesus.
Yes.
It's because the mercy seat is the throne of God on earth, and with the east-west orientation, and with the angel's wing on the back, so they actually form the back rest of the throne. So when God sit,
Christ
will
on his
be
right side.
yeah, the west will be his right side, and that make perfect sense because Jesus sit on the
Right.
right side of God.
And it's
And in Bible, right side is always the right side, right?
exactly that's the side you want to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
prominent side,
Prominent.
the prestigious side, the right side.
Yeah.
You want to be on the right side, you don't want to be right.
Yep.
And so so when Jesus crucified, the one on the right side got saved. The one on the left side didn't get
Right.
saved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And one way of looking at it is when Jesus' blood went on that mercy seat, it went on to the on top of the tables of stone, and it showed that that was that was the law that Jesus was covering the sins of breaking that law.
Yes.
So, and a lot of people today, and you know this, a lot of people want to say the 10 Commandments were done away with. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And how, I mean, if that was the case.
you know, in the book of Daniel, it actually prophesied that when the Antichrist comes, he will change the law. He will
Right,
basically
right. Change
right?
times.
change the time, season,
times
and
laws.
in the Lord. So they like, he will just want that to be done with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it all has such important meaning, such important meaning.
Yeah, and I believe that now this is the restoration that to the real
Right,
Word of God.
well,
So
we
we're in the
believe-
process of that.
right. Before it's all over with, and we're all, you know, before Jesus comes and takes us with him to his Father's house, he'll have what I believe is that God will have a people on this planet who will have pure doctrine, and they will
Yes,
understand
I
the
understand.
truth.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I
what I'm. Yeah, I have that conviction too.
Yeah,
And I see the restoration from
yeah,
all different phases. For example, the archaeological biblical findings,
Yes.
right, and the understanding of the scriptures,
yes,
and the restoration to the real Word of God, the authentic,
right,
Word of God, and also including the feasts, the Moedim of the Yahweh, the Passover, all these,
I believe- yeah, and-
these the true meaning and
the meaning, yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, I'll tell you right now, I don't believe you have to keep the feasts any longer. We can't, because all the feasts involved sacrifices. But we're supposed to study them and understand, and like
Yeah.
So,
Because
okay, I think
it's
that
it's
we think the same.
because it's
it's all part of the big picture.
But that's the shadow of the good
Right.
things to come.
Yes.
But in the meantime, out of the 7 feasts, the spring feast, it's a prophetic shadow of his first coming, while the fall feast is to be fulfilled
Right.
for his
When he
second
comes.
coming. So there is
Right.
it is also a shadow of
Yes.
the good things to come, and that's
Yeah.
why we
Right. And so,
It's
it's amazing. Would you think you'd ever meet any people who think like this 20 years ago?
no.
No. Uh-uh.
Not even nowadays. It's
I know.
very
Very. I know.
just a very small
very
portion
exciting.
of but when you start to realize these things,
Yeah,
it's like
I know.
and we like
Your eyes are open,
Open,
and
and-
it's like, oh, wow.
I was 2 weeks ago I was in Israel, right, and then they show us I think it's like 80 acres of the land that somebody bought back to like maybe 30, 40 years or 50 years ago.
Okay.
And the reason he bought it is he wants to restore, all the descriptions of the plants that
Oh,
that described in Bible, and he wants to
that's cool.
show how the promised land
Yeah,
actually looked like.
that would be amazing.
Yeah, and how the land flow with milk and honey. What does it mean, and how is so that and we were brought in there and show all kinds of plants and how they all blend together and so and so, and we learned so much. And to me, it just hit me at that time like, wow, this is another restoration.
Yeah.
To put it right in front of your eyes
Yeah.
what the beautiful Bible land, in the Bible
Right.
talk about.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be something? It's a return to Eden. you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
That's going to be something one day to get to see all that.
And and they we were told like, when God told Moses said, the land I'm going to bring you in. It's not like the Egypt. You got all the rivers,
Yeah.
right? And you have to irrigate, and you get water from rivers, and then
This
no,
is the
this
dew.
is
God-
this land. God will rain down
Yeah.
the rain and the mildew and the dews to
Yeah.
nourish the land, and so like, oh, this is beautiful.
I know. I want to be
Oh. Yeah, and they
Right now.
explain that why it's flow with milk and honey. How do you understand that part, right?
I know.
Yeah, and then the guide was saying that it is such a beautiful land, and all the different plants and herbs, and they all grow
Yeah.
there so beautifully, and so that the sheep, because at that time they were still shepherds, right?
Right.
Yeah, so the sheep, when they see the land, they are so happy.
Yeah.
So they are very happy to produce the milk.
Yes.
So they will have abundant milk, and then also because the land is so beautiful and the flowers they're so everything's so good. So the honey, the bees
Right.
will come and get all the honeys and abundance of honey, and so on.
I know. I can't wait to see the new earth. To see the way.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. So that's how I realized that. Wow. Now, God is restoring
Yeah.
all these true knowledges.
Yeah.
Tell us again about this and that.
Okay,
Oh, the
all right.
drugs. That's in the book, but he can
It's in the book, but this is what we call a drogue stone.
bag.
And it acts kind of like what you'd think of as an anchor, because they would take the rope through the top hole, run it off the side of the boat, and you put a whole bunch of them, and it helps stabilize the boat in the big waves.
Oh,
Right?
understand.
And these, when they got to this one area where we now know it's Noah's village, they cut a lot of these loose, and they landed right here in this village area. And you can see Mount Ararat in the background. This is a picture of Ron Wyatt. And here's another piece that's actually like a piece of bark. It looks like a piece of bark that's petrified. And now we now know that the bottom of the boat had a keelson, like what a sailboat would have. And when the boat originally landed, it stuck in the mud, and the mud flow from the volcano moved it down the hill, and it ripped the bottom out of the boat and ripped the 120 feet section out of the bottom of the boat, and it moved down the hill and impaled the boat on this big rock. And this is what made it stick here on this part of the hill. You can see the mud flow that it came down in. And here's a piece of slag that was in the bottom of the boat for ballast. We have that over here in the case. This piece of slag is a lot of iron. So if Noah needed iron hinges or some kind of metal, he would just take a piece of this, melt it down, put it in the shape he wanted it, and he'd have a source for metal. Metal hinges or tools or whatever they needed.